You've done it today, probably in the last 10 minutes. Your phone buzzes and you immediately check it. Nothing important, you put it down. 90 seconds later, you pick it up again, and this time for absolutely no reason at all. This isn't a willpower problem, and it's not you being weak. It's the nervous system responding exactly the way as it was trained to respond. And 20 centuries before the first smartphone existed, someone already worked out how to fix it. Here's what's actually happening. Every notification, every red dot, every someone like your post is a tiny hit of dopamine. Not because the content matters, but because your brain has been trained to expect something might be there. Slot machine mechanics. Built by the people who study attention for a living and sell your focus to the highest bidder, the result isn't just distraction, it's a mind that's forgotten how to sit still with itself. Silence starts to feel uncomfortable. Boredom starts to feel unbearable, and most people fill every unoccupied second, a queue, a red light, sitting on the toilet, with a screen, because the alternative is being alone with their thoughts. That discomfort you feel when you can't check your phone, that's not anxiety about missing something. That's what withdrawal from constant stimulation actually feels like. 2,000 years ago, a philosopher emperor was writing notes to himself before bed. These notes were not for an audience, but just to keep his own mind straight. One of the things he kept coming back to was the idea that we suffer more in imagination than in reality, and that most of our disturbance comes not from the events themselves, but from our reaction to them. He didn't have a phone, but he had a mind that pulled in numerous directions: court politics, war, grief, the noise of Rome. His answer wasn't to eliminate the noise, it was to keep returning deliberately to the present moment, to notice what was actually happening right now rather than being dragged along by every passing impulse. Around the same era, teachers on the other side of the world were describing the mind as something like a drunk monkey, swinging wildly from branch to branch, grabbing at whatever was nearby. Their solution wasn't to cage the monkey, it was to train attention itself, deliberately the way you train a muscle, noticing when the mind has wandered and gently, without self judgment, bringing it back. The same diagnosis and the same fix. The mind that isn't trained will be pulled by whatever pulls hardest. Today, that's a screen designed by people whose job is to pull harder than anything else in your life. This isn't nostalgia for a simpler time. The mechanism is identical. An untrained attention gets hijacked by whatever's loudest. The only thing that's changed is the loudest thing in the room now fits in your pocket and never, ever sleeps. The fix these thinkers arrived at wasn't self punishment. It wasn't delete every app and move to a cabin. It was smaller and more repeatable than that. Notice the pull, don't fight it, don't judge for yourself, just interpret it briefly and on purpose. Here's a version you can actually use today. Next time you catch yourself reaching for the phone out of habit, not need, habit, stop for 3 breaths before you unlock it. Just 3. In through the nose, out for 3. That's it. You're not banning the phone, you're not deleting anything, you're just inserting a 3-second gap between impulse and action, and in that gap you get to choose whether you actually want to check it or whether your thumb just moved on autopilot. Do that consistently and something shifts. You start noticing how many of these reaches were never decisions at all, and noticing it is where the training starts. The emperor didn't have notifications, the monk on the mountain didn't have a feed, but they both figured out the same thing you're relearning right now. The mind that isn't trained gets pulled around by whatever's loudest. Train it back, 3 breaths, every time. If any of this was useful, consider subscribing. More episodes twice a week.